Well, trees are snapped, power lines are down, and the power is out for tens of thousands of people. We're taking a look at the damage from last night's storm live this morning.
And damage was widespread across our area, and there is one wild video you're not going to want to miss.
And Allentown's mayor is set to be sued following last night's decision made by City Council. Today on 69 News at Sunrise, multiple suspects are detained after a police pursuit abruptly ends in Fleetwood. We are following this developing story.
Plus, a homeowner jumps from a window to escape a house fire. We have the latest on that.
And someone who drove into a group of local music students and their chaperones has been charged. You'll hear from one of the students about the traumatic experience.
Your life, your world, your news. This is 69 News, live at Sunrise.
Good morning. I'm Hasiel Cordoba.
And I'm Eve Russo. Good morning, everyone. We begin with a developing story out of Fleetwood.
According to Reading police, 2 or 3 suspects have been detained after a pursuit. Now, that chase ended in a crash at Lyons Road and Henry Road. The single vehicle crash was reported around 11. Police say the vehicle was stolen.
Also new in Berks this morning, officials say a homeowner had to jump from a second-story window to escape from a fire in Coldbrookdale Township. This fire was reported around 11:30 last night in the 300 block of Mill Street. When firefighters arrived, they say they found a corner of the back part of the house engulfed in flames.
And at one point, we were just so involved with it that the chief asked for a second alarm. So in total, we had about 10 fire companies here.
Investigators say the person who jumped was taken to the hospital. There is no word on the person's condition. No firefighters were hurt. Officials say the Red Cross is now helping the family find a place to stay.
All right, let's get a check of our forecast.
Yeah, kind of a yucky start to the week yesterday. Maybe an improvement today, fingers crossed?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there's no rain today, but the wind is going to howl, and it's going to be 43 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just April can be so frustrating.
Yeah.
We talked about that in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, April's the same thing.
We need
We need a little bit better. Now, again, we'll be up and down here a little bit over the next 7 days, which we'll talk about. We will talk 7-day in just a few more minutes. Right now, though, a first check on those roadways. Hi, Zach.
Hey, Matt, good morning. Thank you. If you're heading out, starting your day early in the Valley or in Berks, you're good to do so. Of course, just past 5 o'clock. There's your first check on the roads. Hasiel, Eve, back to you.
Zach, thank you. We're hearing from neighbors who are still reeling after an hours-long standoff ended with a police officer shot and a man dead.
It happened at a home on Winding Road in Pottstown on Sunday night. Michelle Wolf has the latest.
People in the neighborhood tell me they're stunned by what happened. One man told me when he saw the police presence Sunday, he thought that a bank up the street was robbed. Instead, it was an hours-long standoff.
Over here in the Rosedale section, people are walking their dogs, kids are out playing every day, so never really expected something like that.
The Pottstown police officer who was shot was treated at Reading Hospital and has been released in Pottstown, Montgomery County. Michelle Wolf, 69 News.
And in Reading, police are still on the hunt for a gunman. A shooting happened Saturday night near the intersection of Schuylkill Avenue and West Buttonwood Street. Investigators say they found 22-year-old Christopher Green in a vehicle. They say he was shot in the back and later died at the hospital. Authorities think there was some kind of transaction that went wrong between Green and another person before that shooting happened.
Need to take the perpetrator of this offense off the street. This was, in many respects, another violent incident that there was no justification for whatsoever.
And if you have any information about this incident, you're asked to contact Reading Police or Crime Alert Berks County.
Investigators are still trying to put the pieces together after a pedestrian was hit and killed. The accident happened around 5:30 yesterday morning in the area of Franklin and Hamilton Streets in Allentown. Officials say when officers arrived, they found a woman with serious injuries. She was driven to the hospital where she later died. A retired Bethlehem police officer was killed Friday as a result of a hit and run. 62-year-old Stephen Marshall spent 25 years on the force, then became DeSales University's chief of police. On Friday, he was hit while riding his motorcycle in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he was spending his retirement. Marshall was hit by an SUV which took off. The other driver is charged with a DUI resulting in death, hit and run resulting in death, and several other charges. Marshall died 5 hours after the crash.
His sole purpose was the safety of the community here, the DeSale students, the faculty. He implemented a bunch of programs that he brought over from Bethlehem City.
Marshall leaves behind a wife and 2 adult children.
Well, new at Sunrise, the person who drove into a group of people on a high school band and orchestra trip has now been charged. We first told you last night that a car came charging at students and chaperones in a parking lot in Williamsburg, Virginia on Friday. Williamsburg police tell us the driver of the car has now been charged with reckless driving, specifically driving a vehicle that was not under control or had faulty brakes. Initially, the school district said the driver was suffering from a medical emergency.
Hit the sign, that knocked over the sign, hitting the first student in the nose, and she came around, and that's when the other student got hit.
And he goes on to say that a chaperone was directly hit by the car. The chaperone was released from the hospital the day after it happened. The 2 students had minor injuries and are okay. The band was not able to compete, but officials say they are all just happy to be alive.
Coming up, the U.S. Supreme Court weighs in on deportations.
The law that the Trump administration can temporarily use and what it does.
Also on the way, an update on victims of a plane crash in Lancaster County.
And the Gators are running the swap. We will take a look at their exciting national title game win after this.
Your life, your world, your news. This is 69 News Live at 5.
Flying into the eye of a hurricane, the U.S. Air Force getting right in the middle of the first major hurricane of the season, Hurricane Erin.
And here's a live look at Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. It's been windy and rainy there all day because of a different system. Delaware beaches are currently under a coastal flood advisory with a high rip current risk through tomorrow night. Heading north, New Jersey's dealing with Erin's impact, too. Good evening. I'm Wendy Davis.
And I'm Jim Vaughn. First at 5, Governor Phil Murphy is telling people to stay out of the water for several days. Murphy referenced that some deaths that have already happened on Jersey Shore beaches in recent weeks. And he says some beach towns have already decided to close the ocean off to swimmers.
You can see the ocean is quite angry, and those wave heights are now sort of in the 5, 6, 7 foot range. That will get into low double digit feet on I think Thursday, Sean, into Friday.
Murphy says coastal flooding is also a concern, mostly on Thursday. And he says he was getting on a call with mayors of shore towns today, and a state of emergency could ultimately be declared. So let's get the latest now on Hurricane Erin.
That's right. We'll go to 69 News meteorologist Dan Skeldon. He's in the Weather Center keeping an eye on everything, Dan.
Yeah, guys, a storm that is still a very large in size and a very powerful hurricane has come down. It was a Category 4, now a 2, but covering a pretty big piece of real estate in the southwest Atlantic, and still 105-mile-an-hour winds, and they stretch far out from the eye of the storm. So you got 100-mile-an-hour winds out here churning up the ocean, and that is the main impact on the East Coast. So there's your wind field, and you can see the closest path, Cape Hatteras, that's that purple area you see right along the Carolina coast, might get buffeted by some tropical storm force winds, but the core of the hurricane force winds stay out to sea, and you can see it is hundreds of miles east of the Jersey Shore, east of Pennsylvania. So no real wind or rain impacts from this storm. They're all coastal in the form of rip currents. Dangerous rip currents carry you out to sea, narrow channels of fast-moving water that kind of carry you away from the sand and do so very rapidly, kind of hard to swim against it. So you want to watch out for these. Heavy surf going to lead to some beach erosion, and there will be some tidal flooding as well, as you'll have that onshore wind piling up the water in the back bays. Those are the main impacts, and they're going to be impacts probably through at least Thursday, probably Friday as well. All right, weather-wise, A little cool for the beach the past couple of days, but dry so far. Tracking 2 chances of rain in your 7-day forecast. The first one tomorrow. We'll look ahead to the rest of it coming up in just a bit.
Okay, Dan, talk to you then. And a reminder, you can get the latest track of Hurricane Erin and our local forecast with our free 69 News Storm Center app. It's available on the App Store and on Google Play.
A Warren County, New Jersey man's behind bars tonight after police say he shot 2 people inside a busy Bethlehem restaurant.
The shooting happened inside the Sizzling Bites Halal Grill on East 3rd Street on August 8th, which was just a few blocks away from the Music Fest grounds. 69 News reporter Amelia Sack joins us live in Bethlehem tonight with some new details for us. Amelia?
Jim and Wendy, police say 18-year-old Ashton Jordan Thomas turned himself in this morning. 18-year-old Ashton Jordan Thomas from Stewartsville is being charged with attempted homicide, aggravated assault, carrying a firearm without a license, and reckless endangerment. And we spoke with the owner of Sizzling Bites, who says that he was shocked when he got the call because something like this has never happened inside of his restaurant. He says now on weekend nights, Sizzling Bites will be guarded by police. In Bethlehem, Amelia Sack, 69 News.
Thank you, Amelia. Well, the Lehigh County Coroner's Office has identified the victim in a deadly crash with a Lanta bus. Officials say 62-year-old Ahmad Kassiri of Salisbury Township died at the hospital yesterday morning. He was driving the car that collided with the bus. We're told an autopsy was not needed, and the cause of death was multiple blunt force injuries. An investigation into the crash is ongoing. Well, school is right around the corner, and one local township's reminding drivers to be on the lookout for students.
69 News reporter Rick Holmes has the story.
Salisbury Township. A car drives straight past a school bus at full stop with its red lights flashing. In Salisbury Township, Rick Holmes, 69 News.
All right, let's get a check on the Tuesday commute.
Yeah, we're going to go to Dane Murray. She is up in the traffic center.
We are accident-free on the local and the major roadways in the Lehigh Valley, north of us in Monroe County as well as Berks County, but we do have our pockets of congestion. It is that rush hour commute in full effect right now. I'm Dane Murray. Wendy, Jim, back to you.
Thanks, Dane. Well, President Trump's confirmed that American troops will not be sent to help defend Ukraine. He said that during a phone interview with Fox News this morning after not ruling it out yesterday in meetings with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and other European leaders. A meeting among Ukraine's allies happened today. NATO military leaders are reportedly expected to meet tomorrow to discuss Ukraine and the current state of the country's security. And the White House says plans for a meeting with Zelensky and Vladimir Putin are now in the works.
Well, the Jeffrey Epstein files, of course, have been a point of contention in Washington.
We'll tell you when members of Congress could start to see those records released.
Plus, we'll take a look at how housing is impacting the quality of life in the Lehigh Valley in the next installment of our weekly series.
And people can now give themselves a flu vaccine at home. But how does it work? We'll explain, and Dan's keeping an eye on the forecast.
Yeah, Erin having those coastal impacts, the waves and rip currents, but a little more sunshine than expected here at home today. Never a complaint when that happens. I think the clouds and showers will win out tomorrow, but more sunshine later in the week. We'll talk temperatures, comfort levels, and that weekend forecast coming up.